This Saturday on April 26th, Sevilla becomes the epicenter of world football. We will be getting FC Barcelona versus Real Madrid competing for one trophy, and that is the Copa del Rey. The Copa del Rey glory is on the line, and Barcelona have to take it. Barcelona is going to be chasing trophy number 2 this season. They have already won the Spanish Super Cup, and they're going to go for their 32nd Copa del Rey title. Real Madrid are going to be eyeing trophy number 2 as well, because they have already won the UEFA Super Cup, and they're going to be going for the Copa del Rey number 21. And for sure, Real Madrid is going to want the extra motivation after exiting from the Champions League earlier this month by Arsenal. Arsenal did defeat Real Madrid 5-1, which is very embarrassing, especially knowing that you faced Arsenal. As for the league race, Barcelona are 4 points clear with 5 games left. And so for Saturday night, if Barcelona were to defeat Real Madrid, it's going to be a killer blow mentally for all of Real Madrid. So recently, over the past few matches, Barcelona have been dominant, and especially this season under Hansi Flick. Under Hansi, he has delivered 2 big wins, a 4-0 win at the Santiago Bernabeu with 2 goals from Lewandowski, 1 goal from Lamine Yamal, 1 goal from Raphinha, which was the start of our amazing front 3, and then a 5-2 win over Real Madrid in the Spanish Super Cup final with Lamine Yamal yet again scoring, Lewandowski also scoring, Raphinha scoring 2 goals, Balde getting a goal. Real Madrid could not do anything, and Barcelona reclaimed the title. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in these 2 matches that we have played against Madrid so far, Lewandowski has been one of the main protagonists, scoring a total of 3 goals in the past 2 visits against Madrid. And the fact that Lewandowski will not be with us in this final, it is a huge blow, but I believe that Ferran Torres can step up. We'll be talking about Ferran Torres in just a few minutes. So Barcelona under Hansi Flick have been phenomenal. A 5-2 win against Madrid. We are currently semi-finalist in the Champions League, going up against Inter Milan. We have been unbeaten in domestic play since December 2024. As for Real Madrid under Carlo Ancelotti, they're still solid in La Liga, very much alive in the title race. Anything could happen, but after a brutal 5-1 loss in the Champions League against Arsenal, it is what's triggering the talks for Real Madrid to speak to Xabi Alonso to replace Ancelotti this summer. If you guys have seen the Real Madrid media on X or on ESPN or on YouTube or on television, one of the main talks right now is not about how Real Madrid could defeat this team or that team for specific competitions. They're mainly talking about who is next after Carlo Ancelotti, and Xabi Alonso is the ideal candidate. So it does seem like this is the season that has really kicked out Carlo Ancelotti because of the recent performances against big teams like Barcelona, like Arsenal, taking small losses against the small teams in the league. It is not looking pretty. So suddenly, right, for the Copa final, this is a must win for Real Madrid to boost their morale and maybe even to sustain the coach's job. For the Copa del Rey final between Barcelona and Real Madrid, historically, Real Madrid have been the dominant ones. Madrid are leading 4-3 in the Copa finals overall. Madrid have also won the past 2 meetings, back in 2011 where they won 1-0, and they won once again in the 2014 final where Madrid won 2-1. The last time Barcelona saw a victory in the final against Real Madrid was back in 1990. So this 35-year drought against Real Madrid in the final is going to be fuel. And I know it's crazy, right? Like, if you really think about it, you would expect that Barcelona and Real Madrid do see each other every Copa del Rey final, but that has not been the case. On average, if Barcelona were to make it to the final, Real Madrid were not going to be on the other side. If Real Madrid made it to the final of the Copa del Rey, Barcelona were not going to be on the other side. Last season, we saw Athletic Bilbao versus Mallorca final. In the 2022-2023 season, it was Real Madrid versus Osasuna final. The season before that one, we saw Real Betis versus Valencia final. The season before that one, Barcelona versus Athletic Club, where Barcelona won 4-0. That was another final. Then we saw Real Sociedad versus Athletic Club. And as you can see there, like, historically, even in the past 10 years, we never really saw a Barcelona versus Real Madrid Copa del Rey final, but now we are witnessing it, and it's going to be very, very exciting. In terms of team news and the likely 11 for both teams, let's start with FC Barcelona. Barcelona are going to be missing Lewandowski. He'll be back next month, but he is going through a hamstring injury. Alejandro Balde is also going to be out, unfortunately, which means that Gerard Martin will be replacing him, or Hector Fort. Marc-André Stegen has reportedly been back, although even though he's healthy and he has been given the green light, he is not going to be starting over Szczęsny. It's just not going to happen. Marc Asado and Marc Bernal are also going to be out for this game, so Cubarsí will be making his return after not being included in the starting 11 against Celta, and then we're also going to be seeing Ferran Torres leading the line up front. So overall, the 11 is going to look something like this: Szczęsny in goal, Jules Kounde on the right-back position, and it is going to be a very well-rested Jules Kounde after he did not play against Celta and breaking his 103 match streak appearance record, which is crazy to me. I expect a very big duel between Kounde and Vinicius on Saturday night, with Cubarsí and Iñigo Martínez as the center-back pairing, Gerard Martin on the left-back position, with our double pivot being Pedri and Frenkie, and then our attacking four is Lamine Yamal on the right, Fermín López as the 10, Raphinha Raphinha on the left and Ferran Torres up front. I know that there is going to be conversations about whether we should have Fermin Lopez or Gavi in the number 10 position, but I believe that this is a game for Fermin Lopez, and I say that because I expect for Real Madrid to sit a little deeper than usual. Carlo Ancelotti recently just referenced during a press conference that he likes to form a 4-4-2 mid-block the majority of the time. He loves to defend, which is insane, right? Because for a team that likes to defend and you have Mbappe, Bellingham, Rodrigo, and Vinicius, you would assume that you would play in a 4-2-3-1 with a huge attack mindset like FC Barcelona, but no, they like to defend, which means that we're going to need shooters from outside the box, and Fermin Lopez makes the most sense. We also have to speak about Gerard Martin, right? Gerard Martin will be starting on the left back position. It's a little scary because Gerard Martin is not better than Alejandro Balde, and there has been conversations about whether to have Hector Fort or Gerard Martin on the left back position, but to me, I think that Martin is the ideal one, mainly because he has played more, which is point number one. Point number two, he's more physically capable to stop attackers from Real Madrid, and even though his final third efficiency is not the best or nowhere near close to Alejandro Balde, defensively, Gerard Martin is that guy, and I believe that those aerial duels and those long balls that is going to be implemented by Real Madrid, it's going to be dangerous, and we need tall players that can win the aerial duels, and Gerard Martin is a master at that. So I'm not too afraid to have also Ferran Torres on the number 9 position. I know that Lewandowski has been a huge protagonist in the past recent Clásico meetings, but Ferran Torres in the Copa del Rey has been one of the best. In terms of our top goal scorers, Ferran Torres is number 1. He currently does have 5 goals, which is insane. An expected goal rate of 2.7, 0 assists, but with 4 matches played only and scoring 5 goals, Ferran Torres is efficient. So this tournament, it is for him. As for Real Madrid is not going to be having Camavinga. It's a season-ending groin injury. They're also not going to be having Dani Carvajal, Militao. They're still on long-term injuries. Kylian Mbappe is supposedly or reportedly going to be okay. Mendy is racing for fitness, and so expect to have an 11 for Real Madrid that looks like this. Courtois in goal, Vasquez, Asensio, Rudiger, and Ferran Garcia on the back, which is perfect, right? I would love to see Yamal go up against Ferran Garcia. Ferran Garcia, to me, looks like a liability who can rarely defend. Their double pivot is going to be Tchouaméni and Valverde, with their attack being Rodrigo, Bellingham, Vinicius, and Mbappe, who will be playing on the number 9 position. It's going to be a lot of fun. To me, in this season specifically, this is a Madrid side that does not really scare me whatsoever, because this is a team that, even though they have the most expensive attack in the world, Real Madrid have scored 5 goals in the past 6 matches in all competitive competitions. It's very underwhelming for a side who, once again, have the most expensive attack and have the best attackers in the world on paper. I do not feel threatened by this Madrid side. They struggle to score against Getafe 1-0. They struggle to score against Athletic Club 1-0. They struggle to score more than 1 goal against Arsenal. They struggled to score against Alaves, and they ended up winning 1-0. They were struggling to score more than Valencia, and in their last meeting they lost 2-1. So at the very least, I expect them to defend well, but nothing more than that, and that's where I believe Barcelona can slot in and really dismantle Real Madrid, because our attack is amazing. Here's going to be some tactical battles that I do want to speak about. In terms of Barcelona's plan, I expect them to press very high, to force errors from Real Madrid, and to have possession triangles, because if we want to win the midfield, we must create a lot of triangles. If we depend on 1v1 duels, then Madrid is going to win, because Valverde and Tchouaméni are masters in terms of 1v1 duels, and they will run through Pedri or Frenkie or even Fermin Lopez. So we do have to support one another. When we do have the ball, make another player or midfielder available. We must exploit our set piece strength. So Real Madrid are very vulnerable when defending corners or crosses into the box. A player like Raphinha, his crosses are going to be so needed, and even with his corners, he is one of the best. We also need to watch out for Lamine Yamal and Raphinha attacking those full back gaps. I believe that it's going to be a lot of fun seeing Raphinha and Yamal take on those type of duties, because that is where Real Madrid could really be harmed. The only risk I do see is the very high back line, as always. It's vulnerable if Cubarsí and Jules Kounde aren't perfectly synced together. Iñigo Martínez has it on lockdown, right? Iñigo Martínez is the best when it comes to making a forward or a attacker overall offside. This is a game that I believe is much more suited for Cubarsí than Ronald Araujo, and I say that because, and I talked about this in the Discord group chat. If you guys want to join our Discord group chat, there is going to be a link down below, but I did say that, this is a game for Cubarsí because we need to have better ball distributors at the back who can make those through passes, whether it's through the attack or through the midfield, because Madrid do like to commit a lot of players up high when they just lose the ball, which is the counter pressing. Having somebody like Cubarsí is going to be so needed. As for Madrid's plan, they're going to be having a compact mid block when Barcelona have possession, and players like Pedri or Frenkie having the ball, it's going to be so predictable, it's not even going to be funny, and they're going to be waiting for Barcelona to lose the ball as always and to sprint right after with those lighting counters. One of the routes they are for sure going to be taking is attack the space left behind Barcelona's defensive line with Mbappe and Vinicius. Set pieces as well, they're going to be watching for that. Bellingham making those late box runs as a secondary threat needs to have importance, and to to make sure that it is on lockdown. So in terms of key duels, Cubarsí versus Mbappe, for sure. Raw talent meeting the explosive pace. Another one is going to be Valverde versus Pedri, who controls the middle of the pitch. And the last one is going to be Vinicius versus Jules Kounde. And so that is it, right? Comment your score predictions down below. I'm gonna say it's gonna end 3-1 with a huge match coming from Raphinha, because I think that out of all players that we have right now, Raphinha wants this the most out of anybody else. So give me your thoughts down below. Hit subscribe and also thumbs up this video if you ended up liking it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.